Welcome. My name is Anastasia, and this is a prenatal specific yoga practice. Now, if you've checked with your healthcare provider and yoga is safe for you, this is also a very beneficial practice to anyone who is not pregnant. So with a prenatal practice, we avoid certain positions like laying flat on the back, on the belly, or taking really deep twists. So this is going to be even safer than other flow style practices. So feel free to join if you are not an individual who is pregnant or post-pregnancy. Today's practice is going to focus on the flexibility of the front and back of the legs, the quads and the hamstrings, and therefore also focus on the mobility of our knees. So many pregnant women find they get lots of cramps in their hamstrings, and this is a very human problem in general due to dehydration, nutrient deficiencies, overwork, so on and so forth. So today's practice is going to really help stretch those muscles out to both help prevent those cramps and to prevent injury. We're also, with the flexibility of our quads and the mobility of our knees, going to help promote knee health and help also to prevent injury in that area too. Please have a towel, a yoga strap, a necktie or a belt, something long that you can hook your foot with for certain positions today, especially if your hamstrings or your knees are tight. Go ahead and find your comfortable seated position. Does not have to be crossed-legged, but it can be. Sit up nice and tall. Stack one vertebra on top of the other, crown of your head reaching up to the ceiling. Give your shoulders a big roll up to your ears and down and back. Nice open space in your chest to receive your breath. You're welcome to close your eyes as you bring this focus inward. Again, if you find a lot of stiffness in your knees, feel free to have one or both legs outstretched. We start to move the breath in and out the nose only. Long, slow inhales, filling up the chest cavity and abdomen completely with air. And full exhales, pushing out every drop of that breath. With your next few inhales, take a little inventory of your body, noting how all the different parts of it are feeling today. Any part of it that is in need of some extra care or attention, just make a mental note of it so that you can do so throughout our practice. With your next few exhales, let go of your day, anything you've already done, whatever you have left to do, anything troubling your mind or your spirit, just drifting away. With your body and mind brought into focus, please silently set an intention for your practice. It could be something physical, like developing better mobility in your knees, or something mental, like finding peace. Set yours silently now. Maintain this nasal breath throughout our practice to help encourage flexibility and mobility, and to help maintain focus upon our intention. You're welcome to have your eyes closed at any time. Just be aware that this can affect your balance. Before we move into some breath work, if you are comfortable with it, I would like you to sit on your feet. So this is something to help gently mobilize the knees. This is an uncomfortable position for people, so feel free to tuck your toes as you sit back. feel free to cushion your knees with your towel as you sit down, or to create a little more space between the hips and heels, that towel can be placed in between, or even using a pillow to place in between. Works really well if that knee bend is too deep. As we sit this way, if you find that at some point you need to move back to a regular sitting position, you most certainly can. Sit up tall, and we begin to breathe. Inhale, opening the arms, lifting the chest and face. Exhale to round like you're giving a great big hug. Follow your breath as you inhale and exhale. I myself am 14 weeks pregnant, so these safe positions that we'll take in this prenatal practice are beneficial for me too. Next inhale, we're going to reach up, look toward the fingertips. Exhale, palms and chin to heart center. Again, follow your breath. It does not matter if we are moving in unison or if we're using the same ranges of motion. You do what's best for your body. One more cycle of breath here. And next inhale, we reach up. Exhale, twist to your right. We're going to use the thigh for some leverage. It may not be very feasible to touch that backhand to the mat, so feel free to put the backhand on the waist. We can even touch the inside of the same leg instead as we gently twist. Shoulders still stay down away from the ears. We spiral those vertebrae up to the ceiling as we sit tall. Next inhale, we lift up. And exhale, twist to the left. Again, inside of the same leg, outside of the opposite leg. And we can touch the fingertips to the floor or bring the hand to the hip or the waist. Next inhale, we lift. And exhale, palms to your heart. Let's go ahead and move off of sitting on our feet. Those knees are starting to feel lubricated, and we're going to start to stretch those hamstrings. My cat Nefertiti loves yoga, but I'm going to just kind of move her to the side here. We're going to take a small V. So feet may be the width of your mat, so we can start to stretch those hamstrings. The more our toes are flexed back toward our face, the deeper that stretch is going to be, especially through the calves. So this is going to apply throughout our hamstring stretches in our practice today. Take a big inhale, lift up, and exhale, we hinge over. Now, if you can, hook those big toes with the index and middle fingers. And if you need, we're going to use our towel. It's a rather large beach towel to hook those feet to draw both down and forward. So we're looking between the legs. The top of the head is shooting forward like we want it to go beyond the toes. Using those deep inhales and exhales, particularly those exhales, to increase that range of motion. Inhale and exhale, release. Go ahead and bring your left leg directly forward. And we're going to bend that right knee some. Now, if it's possible for you to grab your foot with your hands, you are welcome to. I'm going to turn sideways just a little bit here. And if that either feels uncomfortable because your tummy's in the way or you just can't get hold of that foot, that is okay. This is what our towel is for. So I want you to sit up very, very tall. And from here, we're going to stretch that leg long. So we might have to give a lot of slack in our towel if we're using it, or we maybe have to gather up using the strength of our arms to lift that leg a little higher. Sitting tall, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. Always surprised with how deep this single leg stretch feels. Again, if we flex those toes back more, it's going to feel deeper. Inhale and exhale, release. We'll switch to the other leg. We bend that knee. We can grab with the hand or hook with the towel. Sitting tall first, pushing those shoulders down and back, and then we extend that leg. So this is where we might find some pretty big differences in flexibility from one side to the other. Always remember that that's normal in our practice of yoga. It really does help to bring those two sides into balance. Inhale and exhale, release. Very nice. One more deep forward fold here, and I want to give you the option of bringing the legs close. So if there's not much obstruction here as you lean forward, that could be a good choice. I'll also give you the option to go wider, whichever you prefer. If wider, we're not going to use the towel, we'll just walk it forward. Narrower, we will use the towel. I'm going to go with this narrower position right now while I can. And you can again use those peace fingers or use that towel. We're going to inhale, sit tall, and exhale, drawing both down and forward. Imagining that the top of the head is going to shoot beyond the toes. Every exhale allows us to move a little more deeply. Now, what's wonderful about stretching our hamstrings is that it also benefits our low back. Sometimes we find we get a lot of tightness and stiffness in our low back, and it's really coming from that tightness and stiffness in our hamstrings or the backs of our legs. Inhale and exhale, release. Let's go ahead and move on to our hands and knees. Now, we do have this towel nearby, so if you feel like you want to cushion your knees with that towel, you can, or just keep it around for when you might need it again. Hands and knees, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, tops of the feet relaxed on the mat. You're welcome to come onto your fists if that feels more comfortable to your wrists. Inhaling and exhaling through cat-cow. Inhale, face and hips lift, belly drops. Exhale to round, drawing the navel up and in. Follow your breath. Again, we do not have to move in unison or with the same range of motion. Maybe we feel that core working as we round up into cat. Now you can continue these cat-cows, or if it feels okay for you, we're going to come into a downward facing dog. If it's okay for you to have your head below your heart, this will be fine. We won't be here forever, but it does encourage more hamstring and calf flexibility. We spread our fingers wide, index fingers forward, tuck your toes, and lift back and up into downward facing dog. We press that chest back toward the thighs, look through the legs. Feel free to pedal through your feet or wiggle your hips, doing what feels good here. Go ahead and drop to your knees, whether you're doing that cat-cow or downward facing dog. Untuck your toes. Knees are wide as the hips move back to the heels. Your forehead comes down. Arms can stretch long. They can come behind your head in prayer or around the legs. Again, we have this convenience of having the towel. Again, if your knees are stiff, that towel or even a pillow could go between your calves and your hamstrings to help support that deep knee bend. Because our child's pose is meant to be relaxing, we want it to be relaxing and comfortable. You're welcome to come here anytime you need it. If you need a break or something's not working for you. Let's go ahead and come back to hands and knees. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Coming onto fists if needed. A couple more cat-cows for everyone. You can continue cat-cow, or if it works for you, come to neutral spine. Spread the fingers wide, index fingers forward. Tuck your toes, lift back and up to downward facing dog. Again, you can pedal or wiggle, doing what feels good. I'll also tell you all I had a very bad shoulder injury that moved into some serious neck issues. So I'm still struggling with movements that involve weight on my arms, but you know, we're all works in progress. Whether you're on your knees or your toes, let's walk those feet in toward the hands, and we'll melt temporarily into forward fold, relaxing that neck, and then go ahead and soften your knees and roll up slowly. Support on your thighs if you need to. I know that our head was below our heart for a little while, so I want to bring us all the way up before we move into more forward folding. Bring those shoulders down and back, abdomen and tailbone pulled tight, here in our mountain pose, Tadasana. We're grounded here with those feet slightly separated. Tadasana is a great resting posture should you need it as well. We'll take this moment to ensure that breath is moving in and out the nose. And a moment to remind ourselves of our individual intentions. Let's go ahead and grab that towel again. This is going to feel nice. If it feels better for you to just interlace your fingers behind your back, you can. I'm going to grab that towel. Palms can face outward or inward, easy enough to flip them. We're going to pull those shoulders back. Inhale, look up, and exhale, chin nods as we dive it over. Those hands can stay behind your back, or they can float over your body if it feels good. Make sure your neck is relaxed, so you're looking through your thighs or up toward your belly. The nice thing about using the towel is the deeper range of motion that we get. While you're still down, we can slide those hands wide along the towel to release those arms all the way down. You can put that towel down and inhale, half lift. Look forward, flatten your back. You can touch shins, thighs, or floor, but you might want to come up a little higher just to bring that blood flow back in its regularly scheduled direction. Hands come down, bending the knees enough to do so. Walk, step, or jump to your plank. Our high plank can be done on the toes or the knees, that's up to you. Fingers are looking forward, hands under shoulders. Inhale, exhale, chaturanga. Elbows move straight back. Now, if you're pregnant, we're not going to bring that belly all the way to the floor. We're going to release before it comes to the floor to press through those hands. We're on tops of the thighs for a cobra, or a cobra-like pose. If it's safe for you to be in Sphinx or to have that belly on the floor, you're welcome to. Let's press back into child's pose. I like coming through child's pose Kind of an untraditional way to move through our sun salutation, but it feels good. Come back to hands and knees. You can either just lift up to start to walk it in, or lift up to downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, walk, step, or jump forward. Release and fold. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, palms to your heart. Again, we inhale, lift. Exhale, dive it down. Relax your head and neck. You're welcome to grasp your elbows here if that feels good, to create that weight, just to draw your body downward. Again, make sure your neck is relaxed. From here, we'll rock or sway. Just let it feel good. And as we rock or sway, maybe noticing how distributing our weight differently on the feet can change how this feels. And what a wonderful release in the low back. Let go your elbows. Inhale, half lift, look forward, flatten your back. Exhale, hands come down, walk, step, or jump to your plank. We can be on the toes or the knees. Inhale at the top, exhale, chaturanga, float down. Not letting the belly reach the floor if you need that. And we lift into our cobra with thighs on the floor, or lifting up onto the tops of the feet for upward facing dog. Release back, child's pose. Back to hands and knees, lifting the knees to walk it in, or tucking the toes to lift back and up to downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, move forward. Release and fold. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, palms to your heart. Now we'll widen the legs just a little to create more space for the belly if it's needed. We'll take a big inhale, lift up. Exhale, dive it down. Now you're going to bend your knees enough that you can step on your hands. So soles of feet, palms of hands connected. Tuck your chin so your neck is relaxed. From here, we're going to pedal those legs. Right leg straightens while the left leg bends, and then we slowly alternate. Don't worry if a leg won't straighten all the way. That's okay. Let's soften both knees once you feel even to release your hands. Inhale, half lift, look forward, flatten the back. Exhale, hands come down, walk, step, or jump to your plank. Knees or toes. Inhale, exhale, chaturanga. Use your strong arms to float down halfway or all the way, coming in to your upward facing dog or your cobra. Releasing into your child's pose. And then lifting to hands and knees or to downward facing dog. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, walk, step, or jump forward. Release and fold. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, palms to your heart. Pausing here, thumbs at your sternum. Feel that heart beating a little faster. Abdomen and tailbone pulled in. Slow that breath. Move it in and out the nose only. Remind yourself of your intention. continue to move. Bend the knees a little bit, and we're gonna step that left leg way back into a high lunge. All 10 toes are looking forward, back heel is lifted. We can lift those arms if that feels good. You're only sitting down as low as you want. Not up here for too long, but we're getting in this long position so that we can drop that knee down. What we want here is to be in that long position still. If you need to cushion your knee, you can. You're welcome to use that thigh to press away, or maybe keep lifting those arms. Deep hip flexor stretch, which helps lengthen that quad too. Now, we're gonna bring the hands down, and if we need space for that tummy, we're just gonna walk that right leg out a little further, placing the hands inside the leg. And from here, we're gonna sit the hips back and lift the toe up, creating a deep hamstring stretch and a deep calf stretch. The further we pull that toe back, the more we're going to feel it. Now you can sit your butt back more, and you can even slide forward. If you're sliding forward, I know some of you may be coming into this with lots of hamstring flexibility. You might find that full Hanumanasana, monkey god pose. Don't worry about how far you go here. Just focus on your flexibility, what's going to be beneficial for you. From here, we're going to go ahead and shift forward onto that foot again. If it works, and we're going to be very careful with that back leg, moving slowly, we bend that back knee, that left knee. If it works, we're going to reach around to grab with that right hand. So you might grab onto a pant leg instead. You might use your towel as a lasso to grab that foot. That is up to you, whatever works. Only moving that heel toward the butt in a way that feels safe, where it's not initiating any cramping and it's not hurting your knee. Let's go ahead and come out of that. We're gonna lift up, and we're gonna walk it in, maybe taking multiple steps at a time to step in, soften your knees, grab that towel, and come up to standing. From here, we're taking a balance. So you've got your towel, and I'm gonna face you the first time for this one. So you're standing on your right leg. That standing knee can be soft, or we can straighten it and really lift that quad. From here, you can step off your mat to make balance a little easier, because any cushion underneath you causes more instability. Find a still spot somewhere on the floor in front of you to focus, and we're gonna loop that towel underneath that left foot. From here, we're gonna extend that leg long. Give that towel as much slack as you need. Pull those shoulders down and back. This is a modified standing one leg head to knee pose. Breathe, 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 and release slowly. Try to keep the balance on that leg. We can ditch the towel, reaching that left hand inside of the left foot. Now we can stay here in this version of dancer pose, or we can begin to hinge forward, focusing on balance, the flexibility of our hip flexor and quad, and even that shoulder. Breathe, 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 and release with as much control as you can. Very nice. Both of those legs got a lot of stretch and a lot of work in that series. Stand in Tadasana for a moment as we prepare for the other side. Soften your knees a little bit, and we're going to step that right foot back. Long stance. Lift that back knee, all 10 toes looking forward. You only sit deeply if you want, reaching those arms if that works. Wiggling long, 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 and we drop that back knee down. Cushioning it with the towel if you need. We can untuck that back toe. Now here, I didn't mention this on the first side. We don't want to be right on top of that knee, like 290-degree angles. We want to be longer than that. We can use that thigh to push away or keep those arms up. Hands come down inside of that left foot. We can walk that left foot a little wider to accommodate. We sit back, lifting that left toe. You can sit back more, you can flex the toes more, or you can slide it. That is up to you. Doing what you need to do. You can think about where you'd like to be over time, but remember, it takes time to develop greater flexibility. Practices like yoga where we hold, deep stretches for many breaths, which translates to 20 or 30 seconds, is what helps those muscle fibers get longer and therefore increase your flexibility. Now let's bend that front knee again, hinging those hips forward and down. Slowly and carefully we bend that right knee in the back. If it works, reaching around with that left hand to grab the foot. Maybe grabbing a pant leg or shorts or a sock, maybe using your towel as a lasso. That is up to you. If a cramp occurs, if there's pain in your knee, you're just going to stay with a deep hip flexor stretch. That is okay. Release. We'll tuck that toe, lift the back knee, and we start to work that back foot in. It doesn't matter if it looks graceful or not. Bend those knees, soften, and roll up, grabbing your towel. Again, your balance is going to be less challenged if you move off of your mat. Less cushion, more stability. This time, you're standing on your left leg. We can have a soft knee or lift that quad. We raise that right leg, looping that towel underneath. If it's possible for you to grab with your hands, feel free. Find that still spot on the floor to focus on, and we lengthen that leg. Shoulders are down and back. We're not hunched over. We're not sending those earlobes and shoulders together. We're keeping them far apart. And release your towel. Try to keep your balance, and we use that right hand to grab the inside of that right foot. We can reach that left arm long, staying with this one leg balance as we stretch the quad or hinging forward into our dancer pose, Nadarajasana. Use the range of motion that works for you. Hold and breathe. Hold and breathe. Hold and breathe. And release with as much control as you can. Very nice. Amazing how just a balance can elevate our heart rate. A balance where we're intending not to move. Let's pause here in our Tadasana. Moving that breath in and out the nose only. Remind yourself of your intention. And we're going to move through that vinyasa, through that flow, those linked postures one more time. As we do, we're going to hopefully notice greater flexibility because we've already stretched those muscles so much. Better mobility in the knees and better balance. We're going to soften those knees, step that left leg back, all 10 toes look forward as we find our crescent high lunge. Those arms can reach, they could be at your heart, they could be reaching forward. That is up to you. We get nice and long. And then we drop that back knee down. We can untuck the toes. We can leave those arms up. We can use that thigh to press back, maybe taking a little back bend. That's up to you. My neck isn't really feeling that today. Feel free to cushion your knee if you would like. You can walk that right foot a little wider to bring those hands inside the leg as we sit the hips back and raise those right toes for this version of Hanumanasana, monkey god pose. Sit back more, flex the toes more, or slide forward. So this is named Hanumanasana, or the monkey god pose, because the Hindu god Hanuman is often depicted doing the splits. It's fun. We'll shift forward, bending into that right knee, making sure that knee does not shoot in front of the toes. We bend that left knee slowly, carefully, maybe grabbing that foot, maybe the pant, maybe lassoing the foot with the towel, and then taking it where it needs to go. If you need to draw that heel closer to your glutes, you can. If not, that's fine too. Maybe you leave it lengthened. Let's go ahead and release. We can tuck the toe, lift the back knee, and we'll step it in however we can. Soften the knees, relax the neck, grab the towel to roll up. Now, if you'd like that balance more challenged, feel free to stay on your mat, using your towel or using your hand. We're going to soften that right knee or lift that right quad tight. Find that still spot on the floor to look at. We hook the foot, extend the leg, shoulders move down and back. Don't worry if you lose your balance or you're real wobbly, that's okay. We'll release with as much control as we can. Dump your towel and we grab the inside of that left foot with the left hand. Maybe reaching that right arm long, finding our dancer pose. Nadarajasana. You don't have to lean forward, but you can. Hold and breathe, hold and breathe, hold and breathe. Release with as much control as possible. We pause in our Tadasana. So if you are pregnant, or something that happens to our bodies, our blood volume increases substantially to bring blood flow to the placenta and the baby. Because that blood volume has to increase so much, so does our heart rate to help pump that blood through the body. And our breathing becomes quickened more easily. That's okay. Even more important that we take our time to be really deliberate with our breath. Soften the knees. And we step that right foot back, reaching those arms long, all 10 toes looking forward, back knee lifted. Those hands can be at the heart or reaching forward as well. Breathe. Always in and out the nose. And we'll release it down, making sure we're not right on top of that knee. We can untuck those toes, arms can stay up. Maybe we push on the thigh. Maybe a little back bend. That is up to you. Relax those shoulders. Hands come inside that left foot. We can walk that left foot a little wider to create space. And we sit back, lifting those toes. Sitting back more, flexing those toes more. Or sliding. This is a great place too, where you can use that pillow or towel to give you the safety cushion underneath you in case you're worried about sliding too low. When you're ready, we're going to shift forward again. That back knee bends and that left arm reaches behind. Maybe grab the toes, a pant leg, lasso with the towel, and then take it where you need to carefully. Hopefully starting to feel like that knee is comfortable to bend a little more deeply than it did at the beginning of our practice. Let's go ahead and release. Tuck the toe, lift the knee, and we'll bring it in to soften the knees, relax the neck, grab the towel and roll up. One more time for our balance work. Standing on that left leg, we can soften the knee or lift those quadriceps muscles. Find that spot on the floor to look at. Hook that foot, shoulders down and back, reach the leg. Release the leg with as much control as you can. Dump the towel and grab the inside of that right foot with the right hand. We can reach that left arm, stay here, or hinge. Nadarajasana, dancer pose. And release with as much control as you can. Very nice. Let's take an inhale to lift. Exhale to dive it down. Bend your knees enough that you can just relax in a child's pose. Arms can reach, come behind the head in prayer, or around the thighs. Let's walk it up. And we're going to come to a seated position. Let's extend those legs long. This should feel pretty good right now to reach those legs nice and long. We can have the feet together or slightly separated. Shoulders move down and back. Take an inhale to lift and exhale to hinge forward, hopefully finding. Maybe you don't need your towel to hook those big toes now. Maybe you still do, but we can go more deeply. Inhale and exhale, release. We take a big inhale to lift up. Exhale, twist to your right. Shoulders move down and back, using the outside of the opposite leg or the inside of the same leg to encourage the twist. You can also use that hand behind us. Next inhale, lift up. Exhale, twist to your left. Shoulders down and back. A deeper twist than our first one. And inhale, lift. You can go wider or narrower with your legs if you want, and we hinge forward one more time. Noticing hopefully greater flexibility, greater mobility. Really sent blood flow through those quads and hamstrings and through our knees to promote healing. Go ahead and release. I want you to sit comfortably for a moment. Just going to take some neck rolls before we come into our final resting posture. Again, you don't have to be cross-legged here. I just want us to start to move into relaxation slowly. Might find that your heart rate is still up a little bit. I know mine is right now. Let's drop the chin toward the chest. Roll the right ear toward the right shoulder. And we're just going to move in this slow circle. Thinking about lengthening rather than crunching anything down. Once your chin reaches your chest again, reverse direction. chest with your chin at your chest. Open your arms, lift your chest and face, and release. It's time for us to move into our Shavasana. Traditionally, this is done lying flat on the back. Lying flat on the back is generally considered unsafe for pregnant women about 20 weeks and onward in their pregnancy. So please do what's safe for you. I'll be lying on my side today. Feel free to use that towel or whatever you've got for a cushion, a little pillow, or blanket. As we come down, we're just going to let every muscle melt into the mat. Going to let go of the breath, feeling free even to mouth breathe, if that feels good. Your eyelids become heavy. There's no furrow in your brow. Let your mind drift away to somewhere very, very peaceful. Start to wiggle your fingers and toes, slowly waking them up. Rock your head from side to side. And when you're ready, if you're not already on your side, roll onto your side into a comfortable fetal position. And then use your two strong arms to push you into a comfortable seated position. Does not have to be crossed legs, but it can be. Sit up nice and tall, feeling strong because you are. Feeling improved flexibility in your hamstrings and your quads. Feeling improved mobility in your knees. Feeling better balance and stability. Remind yourself of your intention and thank yourself for working toward it. Know that you did something wonderful for your body, mind, and spirit. Take a big inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale through the mouth. Bringing your hands to your heart. Thank you so much for letting me teach you today. Namaste. Thank you all for joining me. Stay tuned for more yoga practices coming to you once per week, and they will stay focused on prenatal and postnatal. And again, that is safe for anyone who a yoga practice in general is safe for. My name's Anastasia, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.